Due to the attack by the United States and Israel on Iran, fuel prices in Australia have almost doubled. And they have doubled before the cascading price increases from the more expensive crude could even work themselves into the cost system. Now, why does this happen in Australia? And while in most countries it's gone up about 15 to 20%, in Australia it has doubled. Why is this possible? Because price gouging is not illegal in Australia. It's not addressed as a crime. It's not recognized as a crime. It's the free market. You can price gouge. Unless you're a taxi driver or something like that, then you're regulated like a donkey. You have to use a meter, and if you get caught not using the meter, you might lose your driver authority. But if you're a fuel vendor, like the people who own your petrol stations, you can just price gouge. That's okay. That's not really recognized as a crime. But it's perfectly legal. For example, conscription is not possible in Australia at the moment, and most people take this for granted. But what can happen is the Governor General could send an email to the Prime Minister signifying that we now need conscription because empire, and it will be the Prime Minister's job to push through legislation at 1 a.m. in about 25 minutes, legalizing conscription. So they can do that, they can change laws, but when it comes to price gouging, can't change those, can't impose laws, can't affect that in any way. That would be interfering with the free market. So they can take away your right to be a free citizen and conscript you into the army, even though it's not legally possible right now. They can change that law at 1 a.m. on a Saturday morning. All the politicians present will vote for it because, I don't know, a lot of their children have like 4 passports and they won't be in Australia when you get conscripted. But at the same time, you can't make price gouging illegal because that would be racist, sexist, or homophobic or something. I don't know. You can't do that. You can't in any way stimulate the system to recognize that as a crime, because it's not a crime. It's just the free market. Just like a money launderer can come here from some other country, come to Australia, and they can acquire several investment properties to launder their money, and the government just doesn't recognize that as a crime. You know, if you steal a pie at 7-Eleven, you might get the police to chase you down and to write you up a fine or to slap you if you make the wrong face at them, but the money laundering is not really recognized as a crime. Not to my knowledge, anyway. So a money launderer could come to Australia and buy, let's say, 4 or 5 investment properties, and they can make, 100 or 120 grand or whatever in rent from Aussies that go to work every day and pay tax, and the money launderer can just make all that money off of renters and drive around in his Tesla looking for places to eat during the day, because what he does is not recognized as a crime. And if you steal a pie from 7-Eleven, you might get arrested for it because you're a thief, while the money launderer might be a thief wherever he came from. That's why he fled to Australia, or she, I don't want to discriminate, or they. So what I'm trying to say, it's very hard or next to impossible to implement changes in the government that would identify crimes that affect you. But if they want to change the law and bring in conscription and send you to die in like Ukraine or Iran, they can do that in like 20 minutes. All because the Prime Minister received an email from the Governor General which signifies that the Empire needs more soldiers. If I had to tell you why they're doing this, it's because automation. Automation and AI are going to make a lot of jobs disappear, and the people who feel like they own the world, and the people like me owe my existence to them, they feel like people like, let's say me or you or someone similar to us shouldn't be around anymore because, I don't know, we're consuming their oxygen and their children's oxygen, and they're not going to want a whole lot of unemployed and unemployable men because there won't be enough jobs. So a situation has arisen where they have to get rid of a lot of men. This is my opinion, of course. I don't have any proof. But if you look around you at what's happening, there's going to be a lot of unemployed and unemployable men, and yeah, there's people around who think their shit doesn't stink that don't really like having a lot of men around, and in a way they're right. Having a lot of unemployed and unemployable men tends to increase crime, but at the end of the day, if you care about you and yourself and your person, you have to ask yourself, do you want to be refuse? Do you want to be discarded? Because certain people who think their shit doesn't stink don't feel like you're necessary anymore. Does them feeling whether you are necessary or not really have the ability to sway you on your own thoughts about whether or not you want to exist and be able to live out your life? Or do they appropriately convince you that it's your own fault for being born and that you should never have been born and that you're just not necessary in the future that's coming? I would seriously give that some thought if I was you.